We only didn't sync. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Nice.
Chalo. Start.
VK 80. Virat, what's happening? How are you? What phase are you in right now?
I'm pretty good. Very relaxed, happy.
Yeah.
In a phase of my life, career where I'm just, doing things which are purposeful. Even playing cricket, it's, you get to a stage which goes beyond numbers and achievements and all those kind of things. And then it's like a full circle feeling, when you start off with just pure enjoyment of the game and then you set out with some goals in your mind and then you achieve goal after goal. And then, through that whole journey, you feel like, oh, now this is the big thing. Once I get to this, it'll all be fine. But then you wake up the next morning and you're like, it's still going on. It's still not over. What's going on? So I think the importance of achieving and numbers and all those kind of things, it acts like a motivation factor earlier. But the more you do it, the more you realize that it's not what your purpose is in the game. It's not fulfilling you in a way that is organic, which is in flow with, the love of the game, as we say. So now I'm at a stage where I feel like, okay, any kind of achievement does not stop you from going ahead the next day, going through the same pressures, the same complications in your mind.
You spoke about the butterflies. You're still getting those butterflies.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Sport in general is such a great leveler. But I think the one thing that you realize over a long period of time is when you feel like you've seen everything, there's still something that you haven't experienced. And I think invariably that happens to people who have played any sport for a long period of time, that you keep getting surprised in a way that I thought I had it figured, but I still don't know how to do this, or I still don't know how to do that. So that's why it's a constant learning curve and a constant evolving process, because you're never really a finished product. You're never going to be a finished product in life or in sport. Definitely not. Especially I can say that from a perspective of a batter. When your whole impact is down to one mistake, you always get surprised in a way that you feel like, man, I never predicted that this could happen to me, or I could feel like there's a part of the game where I just don't know what to do. So I've had many of those experiences, still continue to do so. And I think that's the beautiful part about playing sport. It forces you to be present. It forces you to reflect, because everything happens in a moment and you don't have time to plot and plan and think. It's all instinctive. And when something goes wrong, you really want to break it down in a way that, okay, what happened? What was I thinking? What was I feeling? And that helps you to grow eventually into a better player and in turn into a better person. Honestly, it's every incident that happens on the field, every game that we play is in itself a small life lesson, because you're forced to be present and you're forced to make the right decisions or sometimes the wrong decisions under pressure. And that helps you grow as a person.
New season, huh? Let's get off to a fresh start.
Fresh fruits, sir.
Hey, sunne ninkolappa.
Peace.
Anyway, do we have everything we need?
Big basket. Everything you need, boys.
Everything you need.
Delivered now.
I felt like we really were able to see or experience a piece of your heart during that final. Just watching you and AB, we had tears in our eyes. I know you guys had. Chris Gayle was there. You running like a kid into Ravi Shastri's arms. That was amazing to see that, because someone is truly happy when they go back to behaving like they did when they were children. And that little run, that little jump, just that whole moment of being there with these friends of yours. And it was love. It was pure love, pure emotion.
It was. I felt very thankful, and I feel grateful every day of my life, to be honest. I have nothing to complain about. But that night especially, and I still say it's very difficult to explain to people in words how I felt in the last 4 balls of the last over. When you see from the outside what has happened to the franchise, how RCB has been looked at for so many years as a big team, big franchise that's never won, the almost champions, the ones that have come close but never really won the trophy. And for that pressure to build over so many years, like season after season. And there's one thing to observe it and there's one thing to live it.
Yeah.
And I have lived through all
Your
of those
youth,
seasons.
your prime.
Yeah, I mean,
you said
it's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I started my journey with RCB very young, as everyone knows. Then I was retained at a very important juncture in my career. To be fair, with the conversation back and forth, RCB agreed to the perspective I had for my own career, for my own game, because I was also playing for India. They showed trust in me. I was the only retained player in 2011, and they kind of built the team around. And then, you know, the involvement of, like you said, AB, Chris, all the iconic players that have played for so many years, very naturally they also started feeling all those pressures and, you know, all the expectations. And hence, the care comes from the fact that when you have kind of given so much of yourself, you know, to one team, because it's demanding so much out of you, to be honest, like the expectations have been sky high always. So when people give so much of their own being to something, there is a very genuine and natural care and an emotional connect that's very difficult to explain. So they felt emotional, although Chris has played for other teams after, but he has a very soft spot for RCB in his heart. I mean, it's impact, right? AB became this icon in India after he started playing for us. You know, how the fans embraced him, how they loved him, what he did for the team was beyond words, the impact he had. Very organically things fell in place. With Chris as well, he was sitting at home, gets called mid-season, has the season of his life, is completely life changed within a week coming to Bangalore. So our franchise, our city, our team, our fans has been about impacting people in a very natural way. And I felt that impact probably more than anyone over the course of 18 years till the last year we won the trophy. And I think all those emotions, all those feelings came out in a form of just being on my knees and just folding my hands and saying thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that I could experience this before I stopped playing. Although I wouldn't have carried on regretting it, but there would have been a part of me that would have wondered, you know, what it would have felt like to experience that moment. And it was, I can for sure, with absolute honesty and clarity, say that it wouldn't have been, you know, 5% of the feeling I had we won it in the earlier years. And the accumulation of all that stress and all that pressure.
Yeah.
And for it to happen after 18 years, there couldn't have been a better experience for me in my cricketing journey. Apart from all the other things that I've experienced playing for India as well, this was very, very special.
I mean, the stars, I guess, just lined up because it's been like, it was 12 months of collecting trophies, right?
Yeah.
T20 World Cup with Champions Trophy, and then which you have won before, and then everyone plays for trophies at the end of the day. And even if you've experienced before, does it get more and more special every time you're on the podium and you have that silverware?
And the thing that your perspective kind of keeps evolving, right? As we just discussed, it's a ever evolving, ever growing process. I started off thinking of trophies as accolades and achievements, but at the end of the day, why do people get so involved and engrossed, say for a semi-final or a final? I think the opportunity to win a competition in itself feels like a very difficult thing to achieve, right? And when it's difficult and people feel like it might or might not happen, the connection and the intensity with which they watch goes 10 levels higher. How I've started looking at these things is if I am able to make it to those end stages, and if I am able to leave an impact on those games, which eventually helps us to win, the beautiful thing to understand is while you are playing and you are creating an impact, because so many people are watching, you know, together, it's not only about winning the trophy, it's about what they feel when they watch you play.
So it's a collective.
It's
everything in that.
It's
moment,
a collective environment of growth. You know, so many people when they watch sport, they become so present and involved. And if they see something inspirational happen and unfold in front of their eyes, it can have a positive impact on their lives. It can transform people's lives to say, you know what, I'm going to wake up the next day, I'm going to start doing stuff which is progressive, which is positive, and it actually alters the direction of their lives. So the realization of this being an opportunity to make that impact on people is what the purpose is for me now. You know, And when you get to those stages, like now, we had a couple of tough games, and then when we won, even though you haven't contributed in the game, but the impact you feel as a spectator when I'm watching from the dugout, I'm feeling those emotions when I'm watching a Krunal play under pressure.
Yeah.
And that just creates an energy inside you which is very difficult to explain. You feel like there's a buzz again. You feel like, oh man, this was phenomenal. I feel inspired looking at these kind of moments. So you can also relate in a way that what would the spectator be feeling when they watch you play. And that's why you want to play with integrity. That's why you want to play the game in the right way. That's why you don't want to give up. It's not about the fact that you don't want to give up for just yourself, but it's also the impact that you leave on the game and then on the larger public. Which, what better opportunity, to be honest, to be in a position where you actually can make a positive difference to people's lives. It's a phenomenal opportunity. It's a great blessing in my life.
It's a privilege to have that purpose. And to build on what you're saying, everyone looks at T20 because it's changed so much and drastically, and the evolution is amazing. As a young person's game, and I see you, and I see Krunal, as you mentioned, and I see Bhuvi, the 35 plus club, and you are delivering, and that is experience. And you and Bhuvi, who tests purists, who played that format and bring it into. So even though it's a young person's game and you have teenagers who are delivering, is there a lesson for a lot of us to learn in that when it comes to this 35 plus club that is persevering?
There are different ways to achieve the same goals.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own way of playing the game. We've had so many instances in the past where people bat with different stance. They hit the ball in different areas. Graham Smith, for example, we felt like, it's very difficult for him to, hit the ball through the offside with a straight bat, but through the onside, he was unbeatable. And if you look at he was a very successful test player, very successful test captain. So to have that kind of belief in your own game, which is different to others.
Yeah.
It's not like an AB de Villiers kind of, everything aligned and just perfection. Not like a Sachin Tendulkar where the bat's coming down absolutely in a straight line. But people have found ways to succeed who have not had those kind of abilities or that kind of way to play the game. This is very similar for me, or in fact for Bhuvi as well. Today's cricket, of course, it's evolving, it's changing. That's the nature of the game. You see, T20 cricket came about as evolution of the game. Today, it's almost become a different game altogether. Not just a different format. In fact, me and KL were talking the other day, and he said this thing to me. He said, it feels like a different game altogether. It's not even a different format. Because
In what sense?
in a sense that every ball is an intense event. Like every ball, you
So
feel
you can't
like
let the game drift anymore.
the momentum can shift in every ball of the game. It's almost like you're playing a high intensity, Champions League football game where one bad pass or one slip and the whole competition is done. So it's getting to that level. The talent is through the roof. You see the youngsters coming in, the way they can hit the ball. They are growing up on powerful, explosive cricket, and their ability to clear the boundary and to hit aggressive shots is phenomenal. Like their hand-eye coordination and the confidence they have in those abilities is outstanding. It's lovely for people to watch. It's great for the game. At the same time, you have opportunity for, say, more classical players like myself, Bhuvi, KL, for example, for that matter. He's doing great things, again in T20 cricket. The only thing I would say is the game is set up to play between 22 yards. There's certain technicalities of the game that will never go out of fashion, right? You need technique, you need balance, you need some kind of symmetry to play this game. And because we work on those technical aspects for so long in our lives, from very young, because we aspired to play test cricket and technical foundation was, the be-all and end-all for us. And then we have evolved into, I would say, playing aggressively in the shorter formats. We always aspired to play longer format, red ball cricket for India. So when you have technical abilities in place, you can always adjust. And especially when you're going through a tough phase, it's easier for the guys who have technical foundation to adjust and find a way to score or find a way to get wickets. What is Bhuvi doing? He's not bowling banana in swing, banana out swingers.
He's setting test fields as well.
He is bowling at a length that is telling the guys, I am good enough to hit this length every time. It is the most difficult length to hit. And I'm just going to keep hitting this length. Are you good enough to take me on or not? It's simple stuff. It's repetition. It's execution. It's uncomplicated consistency backed with tremendous belief. That's all he's doing. And look at the results. He's got 6 3-wicket hauls in 11 games. That's crazy. He's not even going at 8 this season, you know. So he's not someone who's playing cricket all through the year, left, right, and center. But the belief he has in his abilities because of the work he's done from a childhood age of whatever, like 8, 9 years old, to now, those foundations will always hold him in good stead. Or for that matter, us who have practiced those techniques of the game. So I think our strength is backing our abilities in a conventional way and finding ways to evolve our games accordingly with the demands of today's cricket. I, in fact, looked at the times that I have been able to play Test cricket for so long, and you know the opportunity
And lead India for so long.
and lead India for so long to some amazing victories and a golden era in our
Absolutely.
Test journeys. You know, bunch of young guys who always wanted to play Test cricket for India, having the opportunity of their lives as a young group.
And fast bowlers emerging. I mean, like it transformed.
The most important thing was, if you look at our average age, there was no hesitation of seniors and juniors.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone had played under the senior players a little bit before, and so many of the younger guys that came in after, we were like a group of friends. So what happened was, okay, I was leading and the management was taking the team forward in a certain way. But the most important thing was, because of the average age of the group, everyone felt like they had responsibilities and ownership. It wasn't like, yeah, these guys will look after the team and we don't have anything to do with it. It felt like, okay, we are young, we want to create this team for the next 6, 7, 8 years. What can I do to make the team better? So people started asking questions of themselves rather than just saying, I want to be told what to do. And we actually encouraged it. We encouraged people to share ideas. We encouraged people to tell us what they feel like we can add to practice sessions, or the way we go about, communicating on the field, or what we say before we go to play a series, or how we talk before a game, the meetings, the information shared. Do you want more of it? Do you want less of it? All kinds of things. We took on everyone's ideas on board. And hence, my default way of operation was throw the ball to the guy and say, tell me what you want. I have plan B, C, and D ready. But plan A is yours. And I want you to bowl that ball knowing that I have set this field, because the ball's coming out of your hand. It's not coming out of mine. So you need to be convinced what you want. And I will give you as long as you want to try and execute what you want to do. If it doesn't work, I'm here. Then we can switch again. So they felt like, okay, this is my responsibility. I want to. So then they start thinking of, how do I set up the batsman? What do I want to bowl? Should I have 2 catching on the leg side? Should I have 3 catching on the off side? I know whether I'm bowling out swinger or an in swinger. Or do I want to bluff the guy? Do I want to set him up? Do I want to open the field and bounce it? Whatever those details are, it actually helps you to think. And then that grows your own perspective of the game and how you can plan for different people.
New season, huh? Let's get off to a fresh start.
Fresh fruit, sir.
Hey, sunne ninkolappa.
Peace.
Anyway, do we have everything we need?
Big basket. Everything you need, boys.
Everything you need.
Delivered now.
Obviously, we focus on IPL, but it was really nice to see you wearing the one-day jersey again, down under, back on eat, sleep, century mode, repeat. It felt like those times again. You took us back in time. Did you feel like you just slipped back into those days again? Because you know that 2027 is the one question everyone wants to ask you, and it's the one thing that everyone will be looking forward to. So you look like you did it so seamlessly, just switching back into that mode.
As I said today, my perspective is very clear. If I can add value to the environment that I'm a part of, and the environment feels like I can add value, I'll be seen.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Right? If I'm made to feel like I need to prove my worth and my value, I'm not in that space. Because I'm being honest to my preparation. I'm being honest to how I approach the game. I put my head down. I work hard. I'm very thankful to God for giving me everything that I've been given in my cricketing career. And I feel very blessed and grateful for the opportunity. And when I arrive to play, I put my head down. I work as hard, if not harder than anyone else. And I play the game in the right way. You want me to run boundary to boundary for 40 overs in an ODI game, I will do that without a complaint. Because I prepare accordingly. I prepare for the fact that I will field 50 overs, every ball like it's the last ball I'm going to play in my career, and I will bat that way, and I will run between the wickets that way, and I will do everything possible for the team. After operating like this, if I have to be in a place where I have to prove my worth and value, that
It's
place is
worth
not
it.
meant to be for me.
Mm.
And I am very clear in my head from that perspective. That's why when I went back to play, I was very clear in my head, I'm not going out there to prove anything to anyone. I am going to play because I love playing the game. That's how I played Vijay Hazare as well.
Yeah.
I was playing. There was not a
How much fun was that?
It
Going
was
back?
amazing.
Yeah.
There was not a person in the COA, Center
Yeah.
of Excellence, COE, sorry. Firstly, I thought, oh, I played for so long and will it be motivating enough? But the moment my intention switched to, I want to play because I love playing. I just love batting. And I just want to focus on that. And I could not care. It's not like I didn't field. I fielded the whole game and I
Yeah.
was diving around and I felt like a child again. I was like, this is not about anyone else. This is about me and the game, and that's what it's going to be. And the moment I feel like, people are trying to complicate it for me and be like, oh, but this and that, either be clear and honest upfront or be quiet and let me play.
And you've earned that. Don't you feel like you've earned the right to say that?
Look, if you go to your workplace, right?
Yeah.
And if people say we believe in your abilities, and then a week later they start questioning the way you operate, it's like, why? Either tell me on day one I'm not good enough or I'm not needed.
Sure.
Or if you've said I'm good enough and you say we're not even thinking otherwise, then be quiet. Then don't. If you start operating up and down because of results, you can never have a consistent stance. And I'm not someone who behaves like that. As I said, when I come to play, I know what I can deliver in terms of effort. Performance, no one can guarantee performance in any space. But in terms of effort and commitment, I know what I can deliver because I literally live my life like that. It's not like I prepare for a series to suddenly start working hard 2 or 3 weeks
No.
before. I'm like that through the year.
Yeah.
So if you call me to play and if you say there's a series coming up, I'm ready. I'm always ready but that's my daily life. I work out, we eat well at home. It's because I like living that way. It's not only to play cricket. So that's where I am. I mean, this 27 chat and all that, honestly, for me, it's like we're at like mid 26.
Yeah,
right?
it's our job to do that, chat. Virat. You do what you're doing and enjoy.
But I've been asked so many times, do you want to play 27? I'm like,
Yes,
but
I'm not asking that question. I
why
know the
would
answer.
Like, why would I leave my home, get my stuff over and be like, I don't know what I want. Of course, if I'm playing, I want to play
course you want
cricket
to
and
play. Yeah,
I
of
want to carry
course.
on. Playing a World Cup for India is amazing.
Yeah.
But as I said, the value has to be
6 months later,
two-sided.
we'll ask that question again.
Two-sided.
Can I ask you about your Pathshala? I love it. Virat
My what?
Kohli's Pathshala, your school of cricket after every IPL game, because
School of cricket.
that is the reason why one of the balls of the tournament was delivered to you by Prince Yadav.
अबे यार.
नहीं अबे यार सच तो है इसने खुद बोला है कि विराट भैया ने खुद मुझे एडवाइस. I mean, it was incredible. Listen, I mean, we have to look at it from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean it to be disrespectful, but you know what I mean.
There's one side of things which is all to do with this frenzy around perform kiya, nahi kiya, all that. All that will
I'm
keep
not
going
asking
on.
from that perspective.
No. What you're asking me is very different,
Yeah.
and I have actually shared it with guys in the team as well. So, for example, say a Jaiswal. Okay. Now you look at my situation. If Yashasvi reaches out to me before we have to play them, right? He's probably looked up to me for a long period of time. Now I'm thinking he needs help. Even though he's going to play against us, it's one game. But if he plays well for the whole season, eventually he's going to play for India.
Of course,
Right?
yeah.
How can I not help him? He might score against us tomorrow or day after. It's okay. Despite him scoring, we should find a way to win. Whatever it is, he might or might not. I'm not saying he would. There's a possibility he might. So I naturally can't go into a space where I say, nahi yaar, apne match ke baad baat karenge. I mean, he needs the help. Do it now. He's going to practice 2 hours later. He's probably called me on the way to the game once. So I'm thinking, yaar, agar main isko bhi help kar dunga, it'll help him in a way ki it can improve his game. He can score some runs. He can have a great season. It can open up things for him. So I'm in that space today. If someone asks me something, yeah, he bowled a great ball to me. And I told him to bowl in those areas. It's fine.
Of course,
People, because they are so connected to me, they feel like, "Arey, usne bataya aur us khud hi ko
No,
out
I
karwa
look
liya."
at it from this beautiful circle of cricket moment. It was a beautiful
So
moment.
people
in
don't
cricket.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. I went and played Vijay Hazare. I didn't know Prince at all.
Yeah,
Right.
Delhi boys, no?
Delhi boy.
Yeah.
So because he, on the field, he feels like he's very intense and he's such a sweet guy and he's so funny because Ishant was there as well and Ishant knows him. So I got very close to him.
Nice.
And he opened up really nicely to me. So I was telling him even on those times, even through those Vijay Hazare games, standing in mid-off covers, whatever, what to do, where to bowl. You have to share experience.
Of course,
You're not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And if people have the opportunity to learn and get better in their careers, eventually who gets help? If all these guys play well, eventually they play for India. The standard of cricket remains high. So you don't want to see a situation where tomorrow the standards are dropping. If you can help someone to get to their potential best, then their best version will eventually help Indian cricket. That's the progress I see. So if Prince asks me something and we have to play them, before playing Gujarat in Bangalore, I spoke to Siraj on the boundary. I told him my observations, how I saw him run in, and I was different to before. And he spoke to me about rhythm. And we're playing them 2 days later. So I'm not thinking, "Arey, maine bol diya, mere ko out na kar de." It has to, his best version, I should be able to play his best version.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be at his worst. I actually want him to be at his best. So I can compete with him.
So that you can compete with the best, right? Yeah.
So I am ready for everyone's best version.
Yeah.
And if someone's struggling, it's an opportunity for me to help. That's how I look at it. I don't do a lot of these, post-match social catch-ups, to be honest, in the IPL. But if someone genuinely needs help and they want to talk about the game, I'm always there to help.
No, it's definitely the younger generation. We've seen openly as well some of the conversations that you've had, like with the women's team and some of the women's players. Just purely as someone who thrives in chases, I want to talk to you about 2 matches. One was the Women's World Cup semi-final,
Oh my God.
record
What a
chase,
game.
and the WPL final. Smriti leading that chase. Those have been 2 incredible chases.
Yeah. And coincidentally, the 2 people I spoke
That
to
you
at
have
length.
spoken to. Exactly.
Look, I mean, there's no doubt that Smriti has always had this. It's very evident when you watch her play. She has this, very very unique talent and very unique way of hitting the ball. She's a very gifted natural timer of the ball, which is amazing to watch. When you watch her bat, it's like, wow, she hits some amazing shots, and the force with which they go, and you don't actually feel like she's putting a lot of force, but this is the skill, to meet the ball at the right spot, and it races through, and she just plays beautiful cricket shots. It was amazing to watch her perform like that in the finals, but I wasn't surprised by it in a way that I didn't feel like she could do this. She's done it before also, but in a high stakes game, it was amazing the way she batted, and also when she was sick. The more surprising, not surprising, but the more I was proud of
Was the semi.
was
Unbelievable.
Jamie, because of what she had gone through in the tournament also. You could feel it. Like when you see, yes, luck plays a factor in the game. You always feel grateful for the moments that luck was on your side. But when you look at the overall, picture and how things were unfolding, it was a meant to be moment for her. There is no doubt in anyone's mind or heart when you watch that knock and the way she played and the kind, she was like in a different, she looked zoned out. She was in that, vortex where she was completely in her own world and she's just watching the ball. Usme Australia hai, samne koi hai. Aisa lag hi nahi raha tha that, she's bothered about all of that. It's a record chase.
Yeah.
It's against the world champions, strongest team out there. And to do it in front of her own people, Mumbai, parents, what she had gone through. Amazing mental strength and resilience. And even when we were having a conversation, I just felt like, we're just listening to the questions they were asking, or how they, when you speak to someone and how they are receiving the information, you can see it. Both of them were like, they were understanding the finer details of what I'm trying to say and where they could take the standards of women cricket eventually. How the ownership comes into play and how they need to rise above all the complications that happen in the environment, because the goal is to take the cricket to another standard, which they have done.
Yeah.
To be fair. So both tremendous innings and both memorable ones, of course. If you ask Smriti as well, she would say if she had performed like that in the World Cup semi or the WPL finals, she would have chosen the World Cup. So between the two, I would say the more special one for me was Jemmy.
Yeah.
Although Smriti's was high quality, world class skill as well. But very proud of both of them.
New season, huh? Let's get off to a fresh start.
Fresh fruit, sir.
Hey, sunne ninkolappa.
Peace.
Anyway, do we have everything we need?
Big basket. Everything you need, boys.
Everything you need.
Delivered now.
Overall, the standards, it's been like collecting
Amazing.
trophies. Under 19, Women's World Cup, you guys, back-to-back T20 World Cups. We're reaching that era now,
Yeah.
where it's like what you used to see Australia doing, and now you're doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, look, in terms of our, domination in white ball cricket especially, I would say we are probably the best in the world currently. There's no doubt about it. I saw WPL in the past as well, but this time around the intensity was, and you look at the turnout of fans as well. It's
nice.
there's a cricketer in me that can say, I can see the difference. But when the public starts seeing the difference, that's when the game has changed to a different degree. When they played in Baroda, was it like three games in packed stadiums? You look at Navi Mumbai, matlab packed. I was like, man, this is amazing. When they played in Bangalore, phenomenal turnout, and they know the standard is going higher and higher. These younger players coming in, they're faster, they're more explosive, they're more confident of executing their skills, of going for big shots. I mean, some amazing. You look at talent like Shefali, Richa. I mean, you look at them strike the ball, you're like, man. When I saw Shefali play in that, was it the T20 World Cup in Australia, wasn't it, when we were playing as well? Man, she batted in Perth, and because I played in that stadium, she was hitting the ball in the stands. And far, I was like, this is unreal. Like, the kind of power and the confidence, and Richa as well. I mean, it's like,
she's proper confidence.
oh my God, it's like any, top tier finisher or explosive batter in the game, like across. I'm not just confining it to women's cricket, but the ability you can see is shining through. So there's some amazing raise of standard that's happening in Indian cricket, and predominantly, I would say, a large contribution of that is the exposure with WPL and also IPL. It's been there for people to see, but now you see the direct effects of WPL, them sharing experiences with other global players, and the confidence of executing your plans, your abilities, your skills against those world-class players on a more regular basis rather than waiting for a series to series. You play with probably, 3 players from South Africa, New Zealand, Australia in the same team. You probably have to wait for it over 6 months to be able to face them. But now you're getting to face them in one game, in one high-pressure game, and to have to perform against all 3. So you imagine the experience you're getting in one package playing the WPL, which you would have probably spread out 6 to 8 months. So the progress is much faster because it's a compressed package of the best quality players in the world under high pressure circumstances. Of course, it's going to bring the best out of players and bring the ones that can handle pressure and have the skill up to the surface much faster. So when people get selected from WPL or IPL, they feel like ready products because you are getting the circumstances that test your character. And the ones that shine through are it's very evident to see they've raised the standard of Indian cricket too.
And also, I think the access to a lot of you, Sri Lanka spoke about being at the center of excellence when Jasprit was there, just the access to you. I'm going to ask you something different, which is not necessarily related, but what you've learned all these 2 decades, almost 3 decades, playing at this level with the intensity, how does that transform into the business aspect of having your brands and, that aspect of which is also your personality actually?
I'm actively, I made a conscious choice now to, of course, I'm playing much lesser. And this was always my plan. Like I never felt like, I'm going to be this to the end, hardcore busy, scene here, scene there. It never resonated with me. I always felt like I want to play to a point where I'm completely finished. I have nothing else to give. And then I want to take things very easy. I want to focus on life and not just, cricket and everything to do with cricket. So even the choices which I'm actively making off the field, I've cut down massively on the number of days I work from a commercial standpoint. I'm focusing more on the business side of things. Say 1/8, we're launching soon, and that's probably the biggest, and the most effortful project that I'll ever be a part of, because it's the accumulation of all my playing years, and to create a brand like that to that degree is something that I always dreamt of, but now it's actually coming to life. So when those kind of things happen, then you feel like, as I said, you do things for the aspiration, the monetary gains till a certain point. But then you feel like, okay, is it adding value in any way to my life? Today, if I just have to think of monetary perspective, I honestly don't need to. Like, I don't need to play or I don't need to work. If something doesn't add value in a way that I feel like, okay, it resonates with who I am, or, you know, with 1-8, I have a chance to actively be a part of the creative process and actually put out something that I would love to, you know, have as a consumer, which is also a representation of me, more or less, is an opportunity which provides a certain purpose to me. So those kind of things I'm okay with. And the lesser I get things in that space, I will confine it even further, like, and slow my life down completely, or to a point where I'm like, इतना साल stress झेल लिया, अभी मेरे को सिर्फ relax करना है, I want to focus on family, and that's.
But you like the stress a little bit.
I mean,
The stress,
no one likes.
not stress in the negative way, I guess, just
love
the
pressure.
pulse. Yeah,
I love
the pressure, right?
I love the pressure of the game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't love the pressure of anything else apart from the game. Like, social media is a huge part of, you know, the commercial representation or the fan engagement for any team, which is understandable. But I honestly, and hand on heart, I genuinely feel like there has to be a bit more streamlining. Because if you look at the growth of the official fan clubs or the official fan pages of teams, it has taken place after a long period of time when the IPL was already in play. So it's not a thing that people were ready for from day one. So immediately you walk to practice and you have 6 cameras following. It's not a comfortable feeling at all. As a sports person, you need to have the ability and the freedom to work on your game in peace. If everything you do is an opportunity to film or display or to dissect, then you are not organic. I'm not going to be able to try to do things at practice which I really want to do, because I know tomorrow if someone films it, and there are discussions on my practice sessions.
Yeah, which of course they are. Of course they will
But
be.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You judge me on my performances during the game. During the lead up, no one has the right to judge me what I'm doing in terms of my preparation, the things I'm trying in the nets. And so I just feel like there has to be a bit more streamlining in terms of understanding how much to do, when to do. Is the player okay with, you know, being filmed at all times? I think those kind of things really needs to be taken into account, because this is my honest assessment. It gets too much. Like, I don't like discussing. Like, I was talking to Kane the other day, and there's that robot thing like doing, and I'm like, man.
To be fair, that creeps us all out a little bit.
But I'm like, what? Why is this guy like doing like? I'm talking to him about something so serious, you know?
Give you a high five.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
No, the robot. Did the dog give you a high five?
No, he was like, so I looked at him and I ignored him. Then I told the guy, man, please take him away. You know, let me talk in peace. He's my friend. I can't have a conversation with him without it becoming a moment of, oh, Kane Mama and King
Mama
Kohli
and Virat
meeting.
King
Like,
Kohli. Nice.
क्या यार? He's a friend. I've known him since under 19 days. बेचारा कुछ बात कर रहा है. मेरे को बात तो करने like चुप dressing room में जाके किसी से बाहर ground पे मिलोगे तो news बन जाएगी. So थोड़ा, I think थोड़ा ज़्यादा है.
Thanks for taking out the time, and as always, you know, it's good. Every time we get an opportunity to chat with you and just see you on the field, and this year that feeling of, you don't have to say it, but that liberation trophy हाथ में आ गया, you can see it.
अभी enjoyment है और
Yeah,
कुछ नहीं है
enjoyment है, boss. Speaking of enjoyment, मखाना लेके आए थे. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I think someone's eaten the makhana.
Big Basket presents the RCB Podcast.